Okay, so I woke up this morning with a song in my heart and a pit in my stomach. And the only thing that made that sinking feeling in my stomach go away was the inspiration to do this video. So we're going to do this video. The song I woke up with in my heart was Slip Out the Back, Fort Minor. And this song has served as a lot of inspiration for me creatively, artistically, um, if not emotionally, but yes, also emotionally. I'm doing this video because I promised you the process, and this is a part of the process. But this song in particular, Slip Out the Back, came out in 2005, immediately hooked me. And over the years, my understanding of it has unfolded multiple times and has inspired me creatively multiple times. I think I focused on the music so much in the beginning because the lyrics made me really sad, made me really, really sad. And it wasn't until later when I was willing and able to process why those lyrics made me so sad, I fell even deeper in love with the song. And it inspired me to write another book. Ta-da! In this book, it is fiction. However, there are events in there that are based on my life, actual events that happened, and I do not differentiate between the two, except for this one story, because this story is in this book. When I was young, my stepfather was very abusive. Now, my mother has since remarried and she is very happy, and I am very grateful to my current stepfather in keeping her that way and in keeping her. But her first husband, monster of a man. And this one night in particular was the most horrific. I mean, the sounds. I'm downstairs, and the sounds. Inhuman, inhuman, wild animals. I'd gotten desensitized to a certain level. So when I started to feel fear, that's when I knew that the stakes had been raised, because it took a lot to scare me at that point. And I remember being afraid. I heard a loud crash and I just ran. I just started running. And I ran through the neighborhood, ran and got all the way up to the main road. And there was a stop sign there, and it was the main road, So I stopped at the stop sign, and I was standing there and I couldn't hear them anymore. And I had a decision to make. I had to decide whether I was going to keep going, run away, or if I was going to go back. And all I could think was, I can't leave her alone with him. And so I turned around and I went back. I was out of breath and so tired. I ran through the entire neighborhood to get to the end. And the closer that I got, the more I could hear them again. And I knew everything was okay. um, and I got back to the house, and the closer I got, the more I could hear them. But then I also realized that they had no idea I was even gone. And at that moment, the fear stopped. I remember walking back into the house, and no matter how it sounded up there, it didn't scare me anymore. So I closed the door and I sat down on the couch and I started watching TV. And I came back and it was really late. So I went to wake her up to tell her, it's like time to go to bed. And she wouldn't wake up. And I kept shaking her because she's always been a very hard sleeper. Like it's tough to wake her up. So I'm shaking her harder and harder, and she's not waking up. I came back for her, and immediately she left me with him, And so many memories started coming up, and it inspired me to write this book. And what's crazy is I have thought so many times about taking this out of publication because I don't feel like this is my story anymore. Yeah, it's my story. It's part of my past. This nothing changes, what has already happened. But who I was when I wrote that book, I was so angry and sad and grieving and still begging and needing. And I needed that. I needed that book. And now I can read it, and there's parts of it that feel foreign. It's the tone feels foreign to me now. I can feel the anger in it. I can feel the sadness, and maybe that's what it needed to be true and authentic for that story. But this is all part of the process. The digging up, the ripping apart, the building again. Let's listen to the song, yeah?
Caught up in everyday life, trying to make it through my day so I can sleep at night, trying to figure out my way through the maze of rights and wrongs. But like you used to say, nothing feels like it's really worth it. Forget perfect, I'm trying not to be worthless. Since I last saw you, I've been looking for a purpose. Well, I met this kid who thought like I did. He had a weird way of looking at it. This is what he said: slip out the back before they know you were there, and at the worst you'll see nobody cares. Cause you don't wanna be around when it all goes down. Even heroes know when to be scared. Slip out the back before they know you were there, and at the worst you'll see nobody cares. Cause you don't wanna be around when it all goes down. Even heroes know when to be scared.
Now, I don't remember where I met him or remember his name, but he walked funny like he was just too big for his frame. Just over 5 foot, but he weighed $150. And what he said seemed so right, it stuck with me. Listen, it's like poker, you can arbitrarily cuts off your air. And like you, I want someone to say it's okay. In the truest part of our hearts, everybody's afraid. We're just underappreciated and overwhelmed, fighting so hard to hide our fear that we're scaring ourselves. You understand what I'm saying, cause you always did. But it's different in the words of a cowardly kid who said slip out the back before they know you were there. At the worst, you'll see nobody cares, cause you don't wanna be around when it all goes down. Even heroes know when to be scared. Slip out the back before they know you were there. At the worst, you'll see nobody cares, cause you don't wanna be around when it all goes down. Even heroes know when to be scared. And I'm no hero, you remember how it was, you know. All I ever did was worry, feeling out of control, to the point where everything is going end over end. I'm spinning around in circles again. This is where you come in. All of this to explain to you why I had to separate myself away from yesterday's life. Please remember, this isn't how I hoped it would be, but I had to protect you from me. That's why I slipped out the back before you knew I was there. I know you felt unprepared, but every single time I was around, I just bring you down, and I could tell that it was time to be scared. That's why I slipped out the back before you knew I was there. And I know the way I left wasn't fair. I didn't want to be around just to bring you down. I'm not a hero, but don't think I didn't care.
I'm so sorry, y'all. My mother is fine. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I alluded to, I'm sorry. I just realized, I was sitting up here, shit. I pictured the entire scene in the book, and I was like, wait a minute. I didn't continue on to say that she's fine. She's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and end this. There's the process, and then there's the process. My mother's fine. Everything's great. Life goes on. Yeah. So, yep, that's all I got. This is the process.